Happy Thanksgiving to those of you guys in the US. In today's video, I'm actually going to be showing you guys another recap from the week that was all the way back here, October 10th to 17th, and really what was going through my mind during this ultra volatile week in the world of crypto and how split-second decision-making was so crucial. Having the right facts, having the right technical, objective view of the market was really what made or saved investors during this period of time, and quite frankly, led a lot of investors to make the wrong decisions, hold on to the wrong assets for the wrong periods of time, and ultimately get to a position in the markets where we are today, where they're in panic. So this is us all the way back here on Tuesday, October 14th. Where I'm going to show you exactly what my analysis of the market was that day from what I posted when I first woke up that morning inside of BNB. You're going to be watching it in today's video. Stick around to the very end because I am doing our very first and our only Black Friday sale of the year as well for Bull Market Blueprint. So if you want to stop making the same mistakes you've been making all year and holding on to the market when it's about to unleash a bucket load of downside that you don't want to take on in your portfolio, and you'll want to stick around to do that and join BNB with our only discount that we'll be offering this year on membership. Cheers. All right, team, quick market update this morning on where Bitcoin is at and Ethereum and the rest of the market. So yesterday, I posted a pretty extensive update talking about technicals of Bitcoin, ETH, of course, big stock indexes, and the altcoin market. And Bitcoin, I said very specifically, is kind of in no man's land up here in between this 50-day and 20-day moving average, and Ethereum was just hanging out below the 20-day moving average. Now Bitcoin looks like yesterday it tried to push up towards the end of the day towards higher prices and was rejected. And now we're starting off the day here with a pretty solid rejection off that 115K level, moving back down here to the 112s on Bitcoin, down about 2.8% on the day. So this is not a really bullish signal, in my opinion, that we're getting rejected basically off of these two very key moving averages and then making this push lower right off the bat, especially after this big move to the downside, a bit of a recovery, and then an immediate rollover. So that is a caution signal, in my opinion, technically speaking. Just looking at the charts, I really don't like seeing Bitcoin get rejected at the 50-day moving average. Usually good things don't happen below the 50-day moving average for the most part. Sometimes we form bottoms. But when we've spent a lot of time chopping below and we still can't seem to regain a footing above the 50-day moving average, that tells me that bears are more in control than bulls when it comes to the price action. Then jumping over to Ethereum, it's a very similar story here. We've even printed a lower low technically on the dailies, and now getting rejected at the 20-day moving average, right? Not even making it up to the 50-day, 20-day trading below the 50, which means the short-term price is trading even lower than the long-term price. Not a very good sign, in my opinion, to see it like this overall. And ETH getting rejected at that sort of 42.50 level and heading back down to the 4K region, and even pierced below for a few minutes here, just a couple minutes ago, below 4K. So again, not a very strong sign of strength, in my opinion, especially when you look at the rest of the altcoin market. Let me just clean this up a little bit. But yeah, when you're looking at, I'll put the moving averages back on. When you're looking at the rest of the market and you look at, Sol, for example, again, rejected cleanly here on the 20-day moving average and looks like it's putting in a lower high. Tau looked strong yesterday, big rejection off the breakout. Bullish engulfing to bearish engulfing candle, not a very good sign. Tweezer top, technically speaking. BNB double top, TRX rolling over, Zcash rolling over, XMR rolling over, Hyperliquid rolling over, erasing yesterday's gains. A lot of these charts are erasing yesterday's moves and fully engulfing yesterday's recovery. Now to be dipping into sort of Sunday's move back up. So I really don't love the look of that. And I just see a lot of red across the board in the altcoin market, which doesn't signal strength. Again, I think we'd be in a different position if the majority of the market wasn't wiped on Friday But when that happens, like I said, it does kind of reset sentiment in the market and doesn't make people feel very confident about holdings, can create forced selling. We already saw a lot of forced selling and forced liquidation. And it just kind of evaporates the trend that was rebuilding, right? Trend was starting to look, if we look at ETH specifically, trend was starting to rebuild itself nicely. I'll just ignore all this current price action. You can see, okay, we had a bit of a deviation. That's okay. We've had deviations in the past. Move back up, right? Looking like we're starting to break and move to these higher levels. And then we just roll over, right? And then put in another lower high. Not a sign of strength, in my opinion. So not loving the way the market is looking here, to be honest. And that's fine. I mean, objectively speaking, it doesn't really matter where the market goes. It's not about how we feel about the market. It's just about, hey, if the market isn't looking very good, then if that's the case, where's the next batch of opportunity to look towards, or how do you sit this out effectively and not pull account balances down as a result of just sitting in assets that are trending lower. So just to be super clear, I am not bullish on altcoins at all. Like, period, the end. There is not a singular altcoin chart that I like the look of, including the ones I pointed out yesterday, which were Tau. Again, is rolling over here. It has a shot at holding its trend, but again, doesn't look very strong. BNB double top. I don't like that. Tron lower high kind of looks weak up here. Zcash ran too hard, now pulling back, and then XMR moving sideways, kind of rolling over. Not a whole lot going on in this chart. Hyperliquid was so strong for so long. Arthur Hayes starts dumping his funds position somewhere in here. Says he doesn't think it's going to go up as much as he thought it was anymore, and that the upcoming unlocks are going to hurt this chart. And then it's never been as strong since. This was one of the strongest charts in crypto up until mid-September, just slowly up and to the right. Not a lot of volatility to the downside. Nice little breakouts, rolls over completely. So again, I'm not seeing an altcoin chart in this market that gets me excited, which is disappointing from an altcoin investing perspective, but that's just the reality of the market. So, I'm not trying to scare anyone by saying that, but that's just the truth. Unless we start forming higher lows across the board on a lot of these charts, like what we want to see is if price comes back down, we form higher lows, right? And then from there, get above these initial highs from yesterday and the day before. That's what the market wants to see to recover effectively in the alts. I'm not going to say whether I expect that to happen or not. I mean, you could expect that to happen given the fact that it's Q4 and that these assets tend to perform really well Q4. But this is not how Q4 last year started, for example, or even Q4 in 2023 was not looking like this come mid-October. We were already starting to get into the swing of things. And I could even show you what that looks like from a Bitcoin perspective. If we go back, we can see here's, mid-October, we had a little bit of chop early October, late September, early October. But, we were starting to move back up by mid-October pretty well here. And, we hadn't broken any massive structure with new lower highs. We actually had just put in a new higher high in late September on Bitcoin here after, forming 3 nice lows over the summertime. So again, completely different technical pattern, not the same, doesn't look as good to me. We'll reassess in a few hours at US market open. As of right now, looks like stocks are going to open in the red futures wise. Not huge red, but down a little bit. That could pull crypto lower, or crypto's probably already priced that in at this point. Usually prices in futures immediately. And then with that being said, I think the next course of action for me may be to cut ETH positioning down. I'm not even going to wait till it potentially tests these 3,700 regions down here. I think at that point, it's just the trend is not really showing much to me here. So maybe cutting ETH out of the portfolio today. And then from there, just having to reassess in terms of what is worth entering at any point in the near future, altcoin wise or ETH wise, and then Bitcoin, I'm kind of good to hold on to regardless of what happens. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the market right now, and also we'll see where MicroStrategy opens as well. I don't think this position looks very strong. 3 rejections off the 200-day moving average. I think this is a cut just because it can't seem to really catch a bid meaningfully here or show any strength. Coinbase. Coinbase is fine. I'm still in pretty good profits across the board on Coinbase, but we'll just have to see as well. And then BMNR, we'll see where this opens as well. It's down a little bit on this one. So yeah, market has been punishing crypto investors recently, stock-wise and spot crypto-wise. And that's fine. It's just not where the money is flowing to, clearly. I mean, it was a completely different story last week. But after such a harsh rejection and massive liquidation across the board, right after printing new all-time highs and sentiment starting to recover from the sort of September lull that we saw, not a very good sign in my opinion. So you can expect some more updates to come later today. That's my preliminary thoughts on the market as I see them at about 11 a.m. Dubai time, which is 3 a.m. Eastern time and 9 a.m. Central European time. We'll see where we're at later in the day. Cheers, guys.